Popular horror trends reflect a lot of collective fears held at a specific time, and The Silence of the Lambs is no exception. It performed exponentially better than any of its subsequent movies, and while overall quality definitely played a part in its success, the content of the movie was particularly relevant to audiences at the time. The Silence of the Lambs, based on the novel by Thomas Harris, follows the story of the capture of Buffalo Bill. The movie was released in 1991 as the serial killing epidemic in America of the 70s and 80s was coming to an end. The character of Buffalo Bill was heavily inspired by several real-life serial killers, including Ed Gein, Ted Bundy, and Gary M. Heidnik. Buffalo Bill's methods of kidnapping were directly inspired by Ted Bundy. In the movie, we see Buffalo Bill pretend to have a broken arm while moving furniture into a van outside of Catherine Martin's apartment as she gets home. She sees Buffalo Bill struggling, and out of the goodness of her heart, she assists with moving the furniture and gets abducted. We can see Ed Gein's influence on Buffalo Bill's character in the actual execution of the murders and what Buffalo Bill does with the bodies afterwards, which I will not be going into detail. What makes The Silence of the Lambs so effective as a horror film to this day is the themes of misogyny. Our protagonist, Clarice Starling, is studying to join the FBI's behavioral science department, and throughout the film, we are constantly reminded that she's entering a male-dominated workforce. Many of the men who she encounters throughout the investigation constantly objectify and belittle her. Several assume off the bat that she is unfit to work on the case because of being either incompetent or too sensitive to the gruesome nature of the crimes. And how can I talk about the cultural impact of The Silence of the Lambs without mentioning Anthony Hopkins' performance as Hannibal Lecter? Hannibal is such a menacing character, despite only having a kill count of maybe 4 people in the movie. For a majority of his screen time, he's imprisoned. Anthony Hopkins' incredible commitment to the role turned Hannibal into a horror icon. And I'm sorry, Mads Mikkelsen fans. I love the Hannibal TV show, and I love Mads Mikkelsen's Hannibal, but Anthony Hopkins made the role what it is today. Aside from the aforementioned TV show, The Silence of the Lambs was followed up by one sequel film, Hannibal, released in 2001, and 2 prequel films, Red Dragon and Hannibal Rising. I have a soft spot in my heart for Red Dragon, and that's not a very popular opinion. It's not very good, but I just think it's kind of silly, you know? Anthony Hopkins returned as Hannibal Lecter in Hannibal and Red Dragon. But to be honest, none of the movies following The Silence of the Lambs work half as well, especially with handling Hannibal Lecter. What makes his character work is the fact that we don't see him commit many heinous crimes. The horror lies in the implications that the other characters give to us about him. When he's on the streets and killing people left and right, he's not as effective as a villain, he just kind of comes off as like a murderous live-action Bugs Bunny. But to wrap things up, The Silence of the Lambs is probably my favorite horror movie of all time, and I could talk about it for a lot longer than 3 minutes and 15 seconds.